On Friday, November 15th, Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions bring you the highly anticipated heavyweight boxing mega event of the year. Jake El Gallo Paul will go toe-to-toe in the ring against Iron Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. Don't miss this epic showdown live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Watch Paul versus Tyson, Friday, November 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live only on Netflix.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a one-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Behind those cozy nights at home, thousands of employees at BP go to work every day. People producing more U.S. natural gas. People building grid-scale solar capacity. People turning landfill waste gas into pipeline-quality renewable natural gas. And people delivering all of that power where it's needed. They're part of the more than 300,000 jobs BP supports across the country. Learn more at bp.com/investing in America.
Hello and welcome back to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast, and welcome back to our women's show where we're going to have a little season overview, talk about the positives and negatives, although there's not many, of this season. I'm your host George, and I'm joined by Adam for this one. Adam, how are you?
Good, mate. Really excited to talk about our fantastic women's team.
Yes, me too, mate. So we'll start with the West Brom game that went just last weekend. It was a 2-0 win away at West Brom. Mel Johnson opening the goal scoring after 15 minutes with a goal from the edge of the box that I'm sure you might have seen on Instagram. And then a brilliant free kick from Molly Green in the 86th minute to secure the win. We'll start with the Molly Green goal. It was a really good free kick from that position, so close. It's very difficult to get it on target and in the back of the net from there. But Adam, it was struck perfectly, and a player of that quality, it wasn't a surprise to see her stick that away, was it?
No, not at all. I mean, she's done this before. She scored some fantastic goals. The one against Calcer comes to mind when she just pings from 25 yards into the top bins. Yeah, the way she strikes the ball, it's fantastic to see. And like you said, the free kicks are always hard. You've either got to get it up and over, or you've got to go around, and both of them options aren't too easy. So, yeah, no, it's not. It was a tough finish for her, but like you say, the quality of player didn't surprise me. And look, it was a fantastic win. Mel Johnson doing what... I mean, really, when me and Ellie previewed this at the start of the season, you get a striker in that was top goal scorer in the league above you. You were expecting that they'll come down and they'll do it in this league. And she had a little bit of a slow start, but it didn't last very long, that slow start, and she's sort of really in top form now.
Yeah, it's her 14th goal in 14 games in the league this season. So do you think she's been the difference for Forest this season?
I think it's good to have that experience. I think it's good to have that kind of that top goal scorer, involved. You've got other people are going to chip in with goals. You've got, Charlie Wellens, obviously, is always going to chip in with goals as well. So I think that the dynamic of Forest this season, I think the reason that we're winning games, because the thing is, when you win your 8-0, 9-0 games, respectfully to that other team, you're going to win that regardless. You've got a better team than them. You're going to win that, whoever scores the goals. But it's the close games in these leagues, right? And this is what Forest have experienced for the last couple of years. It's those really close games where they're completely on a knife edge, and you just need that one bit of magic, that one bit of brilliance. And if you've not seen Mel Johnson's goal, I urge you to go and watch it. It's a great finish. She just chests it down, takes on a player and just bends it into the bottom corner. It's a lovely finish, and it's what she's been about this season.
Yeah, and you talk about those 8-0 wins. Wolves went away and beat West Brom 8-0. So Forest, I suppose, had to put out a statement, and just getting the job done was the main aim. So Forest now sits second, still unbeaten, and they are two points, I think, behind Wolves, but they do have a game in hand. So it was important, Adam, that Forest just got the job done to remain, with the league in their hands. Yeah,
I mean, performance-wise against West Brom, it probably wasn't the best that we've played this season. We know that. We had to be on red alert, But it was a typical Forest women's game, really. We had a lot of the ball. We caused a lot of issues to them. we did have a lot of chances, in fairness. It could have been more than 2. But look, if you win 10-0 or you win 1-0, you get the same amount of points. And it's as simple as that. And it's winning these close games. So yeah, look, you were second in the league, but really we've got that game in hand. Obviously, we had the game cancelled because we had a couple of internationals. So Wolves have been a bit of a surprise package this year. I think going into the season, we talked a lot about Rugby Borough, we talked a lot about Burnley. Probably didn't really talk about Wolves too much in that discussion of winning the league, but they've been absolutely outstanding recently. But we can't forget that Forest have played Wolves already this season and won very convincingly. Went away and beat them 6-1. So I still think Forest are the meat of stick in this league, and I still think that where the goal for every single game is to go in and win every single game, because we know we can beat anyone.
So is there a bit of you that is waiting or expecting Wolves to drop off, or is there, have you seen enough for you to think that they will sustain their sort of title charge and be with us all season?
I mean, I would personally expect that at some point the bubble bursts a little bit. And I think I'm only saying that because, like I say, I mean, going into the season, we probably didn't really fancy them too much. And they're not really blowing teams away for the most part. I think that they've had their big wins and stuff, like, teams that are up there do, but they drew away at Stoke, which is a game that Forest won. They just about beat Derby, which is what we did. They conceded 2 goals to Cowser when Forest played Cowser. I don't even remember Cowser getting in Forest half. So it's the 2 games that have defined this Wolves season so far is they beat Rugby Borough and they beat Burnley. That's why they are where they are. Because the other games are like you're expecting them to win. They had a massive win last weekend because they beat Liverpool Feds, who a mid-table side, but again, you've got to beat them. You've got to win those games. So they've been really, really impressive so far, Wolves. But I do think that they're going to struggle to sustain this for a whole season, and I do think they're going to struggle to finish above Forest.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. So in terms of the cup, then Forest are through to the next round. They beat Boldmere St Michael's in the last round to set up a game against Long Itchen. Now, given Forest's form and dominance this season and the fact that they're in the sort of division above their opponents, are we being a bit over-optimistic to expect Forest to have no issues to get through, Adam? The game's after the Stoke game at the weekend, so are you expecting Forest to win, or is that being a bit optimistic?
No, I'm absolutely expecting Forest to win. I think when you're having a cup run, you've got to obviously focus on the league as well, and it's one of the things. But I mean, Long Itchen's it's not a game we should be losing. Quite frankly, they're obviously quite a few leagues below Forest. I don't think it's a game that we can afford to lose. I mean, I believe they're in the West Midlands Regional League, so it's a game that we've got to win. And you want to win, but we do have a lot of big games coming up, because I think this is the thing. We've got the Long Itchen game, but then we've also got the Middlesbrough quarter-final in the FA WNL Cup. So the goal this season is to get promoted. And if we get promoted and don't win a cup, I think every single Forest fan will be like, you won't be bothered, you'll still be happy your team got promoted, and that's what we're after. But if you got promoted and you won a cup as well, it'd just be special, wouldn't it? It'd be really, really special.
Yeah, definitely. And given the positivity around the women at the minute, it wouldn't be surprised to see them certainly go far in both competitions.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
So let's look at the season as a whole then. There's been a couple of standout moments for the best moment of the season, obviously hammering Wolves early on, but then going away to Derby and winning. They're the two that stand out. Adam, what's been your favourite moment this season?
I think it's got to the best moment of the season categorically is the late winner against Derby. I don't think there's anything else on the docket. But I think for me, I mean, the Chelsea game was amazing. There was a lot of people down at the City Ground. We absolutely hammered them. That was fantastic. So there's been so many high points this season. The Wolves away game was brilliant. I can't name just one, but it's been a really, really amazing season so far. And I think this episode is going to come out before Sunday. This international break, there's no men's game this weekend, so kids for £1 down at the City Ground for the Stoke game. So you've got to get down. Everyone that can get down, you've got to get down, and that would be very much appreciated. So yeah, creating that City Ground atmosphere and all that is absolutely what we need to be doing.
Yeah, definitely. So there's the positives. There isn't really any negatives to draw upon, but given the current positivity and confidence that's flowing through the squad, are you confident that if Forest hit adversity, if they drop points in the game they're expected to win, that they'll have what it takes to come back through it?
I think they've already proved that they will do that. I think that's the important thing. After the draw against Burnley, they went and beat Hull. After the draw against Rugby Borough, they went and won their WNL Cup game and then beat Halifax 8-0. Like they're very much a bounce back team. They're very much a team that will bounce back. I think if we're talking negatives, and the thing is, we're going to have to really nitpick a negative. But the Burnley and Rugby Borough games were really disappointing because they're the other two teams that are up there. Obviously, we beat Wolves. But if you had beat Burnley and Rugby Borough, not only would you have 4 more points, you would have also beat 2 teams around you. And the way that this league works, it 9 times out of 10 will come down to, did you beat the teams around you? And I don't want it to be the end of the season where it comes down to that and we miss out by a point because we didn't beat Burnley, we didn't beat Rugby Borough. So that's probably the only negative I can bring up. But that is such a small negative to bring up, isn't it?
Yeah, like you said, I think we're clutching at straws, so we could certainly be in a worse position. Now, some positive news out of the club this week that Carly Davies, the manager, signed a new contract until 2027, which is actually longer than the Forest men's manager Nuno's contract. I think there's 2 points to come from this. But firstly, in terms of on the pitch and the performances under Carly, it's she's transformed the team, and it's certainly a deserved extension. Adam, I'm guessing you were happy about this one.
I think it was excellent news. I think she's the right manager to take us, I would say, all the way to WSL. I think that's where it could really be that long of a journey. And actually, I think that the reason the contract is that long is because the club want her to do that. They want her to complete that journey all the way to the WSL. So it's a fantastic bit of news. She's been brilliant on and off the pitch. Obviously, Nat Johnson in our interview mentioned to us how the manager works, and she's a big fan of her, and the players really like her, and I think that's massive. So yeah, look, excellent news, and we look forward to the next few years under Carly Davies.
And as I mentioned, it's longer than Nuno's contract, and I think it really does show that Marinakis intends for the club to be a force as one long term. So this decision really shows that he's in it for the long term, Adam, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it also shows the commitment in the project as well. I think giving a manager that long, because the thing is with the Women's League, and unfortunately, obviously the way it sort of does work is that 1-year contracts are pretty accustomed for managers and for players. So to have signed your manager to a longer contract is essentially the club saying, you are the person that we believe is going to help us, but also it's the club committing finances to a long-term project with the women's game, and that can only be a positive for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And her first game after a new contract, as Adam mentioned, will be at home at the City Ground against Stoke this Sunday. Stoke are 8th in the table, and Forest won 3-0 away at Stoke earlier this season. So, Adam, how are you feeling ahead of this one in a game that hopefully will be populated very heavily, as you mentioned, given the international break?
Yeah, I'm feeling really positive. I don't go into any Forest women's game with any thought other than this is a game that we should and will and can win. So I'm going in with a lot of positivity. My biggest hope for Sunday, along with the result, is to have as many people down at the City Ground as possible. Let's get some a lot of fans behind those women, and let's really support them. But it's a game we should win. Stoke away game, in fairness as well, we didn't play that well. First half we were pretty poor, couldn't get the opening goal, and then second half, Nat was outstanding, scored 2 fantastic goals, and won that game 3-0. So it's going to be a tough one. This is a Stoke team that, look, they're not right at the top of the league, but they are 5th. They've got the same amount of points as Burnley and Rugby Borough, and they've played the same amount of games as us, 10. They've not played the 11 that Wolves have. So they're a good side, and they're a side that come here thinking, if we want to be in this title race, we need to beat Forest. So there's a lot riding on the game for them and for us.
Can we get a little score prediction before we go, Adam?
I think 2-0. I think they're a tough side to break down, Stoke are. And they proved that at their place when we played them. And it was hard, and we had to grind out the result. I think I see a similar game to the West Brom game. We might have to grind it out. We might have to be patient. But, this Forest side has proved that they can be, and they are patient. So, look, I'm not too concerned, but it's a game we need to win. And it's as simple as that. It's a game we absolutely need to win, because we need to win every game. It's how competitive this league is.
Yeah, definitely. Just before we go, a couple of notices on the notice board. Happy birthday to friend of the pod, Nat Johnson. It was her birthday on Wednesday, and thanks again for coming on the podcast. And congratulations to Ellie's Garibaldi Girls, who have just reached the 100 members milestone. So a really important moment for them. Adam, have you got a note or a message to either of them?
Look, Ellie is absolutely fantastic at what she does. She's when she's been on the pod and stuff, she's just so full of energy and full of passion for what she's doing at the moment. So obviously a big well done to Ellie, and happy birthday to Nat. She was very much willing to give her time, come and talk to us straight after coming out of training. So she's a wonderful footballer, lovely person, and I hope she had a lovely day.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining me, Adam. Hopefully you enjoyed the game on Saturday, and hopefully many listeners will be going as well. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and you can find social media and links to other places to find the podcast at thewords1865.football. We'll be back with the Friday 5 later on this week, and a Forest Ramble episode as soon as it's the international break. But until then, have a good week, and come on, you Reds.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Every day, thousands of Comcast engineers and technologists like Leslie put people at the heart of everything they create.
With my team at Comcast, we developed the Xfinity voice remote and tested it to recognize different types of accents, inflections, and languages.
New movies.
Movies for kids.
Películas para las familias.
Now 40 million voice commands a day are heard by the Xfinity voice remote. Visit ComcastCorporation.com to learn more.